Hey, Instagram, I'm still working on this yellow duck stuff. Hopefully, I'm getting it to some sensible point. Give me a second here. Ooh. Sidechain buttons are missing. Interesting. Okay, I gotta look up something on our tech support things. All right, let me get started. So I'm watching from Wings of Pegasus. I never know what to think about this channel, but this video is called "So It's Official. Nobody knows what music is anymore," and it seems to be about auto-tune. And sometimes when we say auto-tune, mean just generically pitch correction or pitch correction software tools or whatever. Man, the weirdest thing is happening with Restream chat. Still driving me bonkers. Let me see if I can't Restream chat. Let me see if I can get that without having to see this, because it is not working well. Oh, goody. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm going to try and log in here. Stream. Here we go. Sorry. Oh man, why are you making me do this? I pay for this service and they still make me do a capture. 2 captures. Nice. Okay. Okay. Hopefully this works. I just want an easier way to see what chat is. Let me test this. There's been some things been breaking lately, so let me just test the chat. And yep, there we go. Okay, so I don't have to keep this window open. Yay. All right. Sorry. So here we go. Let's just see what he has to say.
Increasingly blurred line between somebody producing pitch with their vocal cords and somebody producing pitch with a computer.
I think that's a I know I hate to stop right away, but that seems to be a false dichotomy. Even if you're using auto-tune or whatever else, you're still producing, the original pitches anyways with your vocal cords. You're modifying them, but if you want a completely synthetic thing, there are synthetic voices. That's getting more and more now, to the point where, do you even bother recording the singer? Just like drums or bass, just have the computer do it, right?
Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So a bit of a different one for tonight, because recently on the channel we had a look at the Eagles and Randy Meisner with his vocal that had been auto-tuned, and this was a performance from the late 70s, and a lot of you did agree with me that it shouldn't be auto-tuned. Old performances should be left as they were.
I know I'm stopping this all over the place. There's this claim out there, usually by the same people who are still trying to push analog tape and the idea that different types of electric guitar would make different electrical properties and magical mic preamp claims and all this other nonsense. That it's the mistakes that make the music. And you know what? I think there's been a couple times in my life where I've actually heard that be true. But not usually. Usually, I mean, yeah, it's going to sound like total robots if you completely flatten out people's vibrato or whatever. But if you're kind of trending something towards a pitch center, or, you know, like we do, we change drum timing all the time to clean it up. I don't agree. I haven't heard a situation where it's the mistakes that make the music, unless it's the actual music. Most of the time, mistakes just sound like mistakes.
To preserve the art that they were.
Not taking away the art. You're enhancing it. Is it bad when you start using canvases that don't fade out right away? Does that hurt the art? You may be technically preserving it better.
Exactly when they were performed live, and not to edit that performance, especially of a vocalist, because that is their unique take on a vocal and lots of other things that we got into discussing.
Maybe they can't realize their unique take on the vocal, you know? There are many people, for many reasons, that can't do some of the things they'd like to do, but they'd still like to use it in their art. You know, maybe they can't go to the Himalayas, but man, they could do a green screen in front of it or something. That's probably a bad example, but there's all kinds of limitations we have as humans. And if we can, we use technology to get around it sometimes.
But
maybe that day the guy just had like surgery or something. He can't sing. He can't quite hit the note he wants to hit, but he knows what it wants it to sound like. And that's how he wrote the song, is that he wanted to sound a certain exact way. And this technology gets him there. So again, I don't think it's really as clear cut as people try to make it.
Since then, I'm just noticing all over the place auto-tune and pitch correction. And I was watching TV, and actually I heard this in the background. And to me, auto-tune is something that just grates my ears. So,
well, you must be sucking in life right now, because there is like nothing that isn't completely just slammed with pitch correction right now. And timing. I mean, okay. I know this guy's not that naive, but you go to a live show, how live is it? You know, they're playing with canned tracks, you know. I mean, yes, it's funny because Milli Vanilli got nailed for this in the 80s, right? But what they did isn't even close to the level of deception that most quote unquote real live acts are doing right now. It's not like Milli Vanilli is a billion times more honest than a lot of the stuff we're doing right now. I mean, come on.
As soon as I heard this, I just stopped what I was doing on the laptop and looked at the TV, and I realized that it was advertising something that was going to be on TV soon. It's either on Disney Plus or Paramount or one of those subscription channel service things. And it was so bad that I thought, I've got to feature this. It was Meryl Streep, and Meryl's voice has been heavily auto-tuned and pitch corrected. But I did notice in the comment section of the video that I then checked out on YouTube in order to get the audio for this video, that people were saying how great her voice is. And they don't realise, and people don't realise, that this is absolutely commonplace now, that you're not...
And they don't care. Okay, look. So when you EQ a guitar tone, when you high pass filter all the mud out of it on a mix and stuff, you've altered it. You've altered it substantially. It is very, very, very different than what they started with. You can say these are different in degrees or whatever, but just this whole like this is almost like the naturalistic fallacy. I mean, come on. And you know what? Those people who were listening to it, they liked it. It probably sounded exactly like what the production team wanted it to sound like. And that was their vision. The mistakes aren't somebody's vision. Somebody doesn't say, hey, I want to screw up and miss this drum fill. No, that's not their vision. Their vision is this perfect drum fill and everything else, or, you know, something human, but probably, maybe not. I mean, you could take that one up with Skrillex or something, right?
Hearing a natural voice and one that hasn't been through a computer processor. So I have
Look, anytime you record today, your voice has been through a computer processor. Sorry. But this is like special pleading. Oh, the auto-tune's bad. The EQ's fine. The compression's fine. The trying 50,000 different types of microphones is fine. The editing the hell out of it is fine. 5 billion takes is fine. You know, whatever reverbs and everything else, that's fine. That's all natural somehow. But this particular line of code is not natural. Everything else is natural. No matter what, voice is going to be digitized. It's going through a computer no matter what. So this is, again, special pleading.
Have isolated the vocal, run it through the pitch monitoring software, so we'll see her voice on screen. I have kept a bit of the video in the background here, hoping that this video doesn't get copyright blocked because of that, but let's have a listen and see what happens.
Hush, little one, let me sing you to sleep.
I mean, that's all I needed to hear when this was on TV, and it wasn't the isolated vocal that I was listening to. You can just tell auto-tune straight away. I mean, we are bang on.
Okay. So it really depends what's going on here. I suspect, kind of think, actually this does look more like, okay, look, now we really want to geek out. In some cases, you're going to be able to kind of tell what was Melodyne versus what was auto-tune. And there's a couple other pitch algos right now. I've been using SynchroArts pitch software a little bit. I'm not really getting along with it that well. I like the idea. I love the idea of it, but I'm not really. I paid a lot of money for it too, man, and I'm really not necessarily getting along with it all that well. The vocal line, and there's some kind of like their repitch, revoice, maybe repitch. I can't remember. It's a lot of good to it, but there's a lot of bad as well. Anyway, this right here, either it's set really slow or it's not all that touched. But the other thing is how hard is this actually pulled? I would love to see the original. But this is pretty mellow. And I've seen singers pretty damn close. I mean, honestly, this is not, it's nothing super surprising here.
On the lines here, and I'll move it over so that we do get a reference for the notes that if you do want to know. We've got a D4 that we're bang on and the D sharp 4, but let's let it go on.
Moonlight has come, now drift off to a dream.
So here are the classic, I mean, you guys know if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, that when you're directly over the lines all the time, it's not a natural voice. It's not.
That's not true. All right. You could be directly over the lines just because the law of infinite numbers and chance. But that's not what's happening here. There's a lot of variation here. A lot of these things that may not have been picked up. Look at this one. I'm looking at some bends and stuff. It's like you got to make the case for why this is bad. I mean, you know, if you really like, I could put up some vocals right now and hammer the hell out of them with one of these pitch correction processes, and you'd hear just how bad it gets. But just like this,
an unedited voice. The pitch has been edited and corrected. This is the other thing that I think, from the sound of Meryl's voice, she's got a good singing voice, but it's been so manipulated and frankly butchered by auto-tune that you don't get to hear her natural voice and the qualities of it, because obviously it sounds like a robot because of the amount of editing it's had done to
you
it. But
don't know that. Okay, maybe we should get into the technical side of this. There are pitch correcting softwares where you can just move the entire phrase up or down. You're not flattening anything out. You're just moving where the entire thing is. Like, ah, man, I'm gonna pull something up here. Let's just do this for real. I'm probably gonna run Melodyne. I really hate Melodyne, but let me find a little chunk here. Can you spare me some? Okay, here we go. Maybe let me try one of the Synchro Arts ones. Really, it's called Repitch. I paid a lot of money for these. I need to use them, but they were making so much trouble for me, and there's certain things that I didn't really like. Oh, this iLok. Oh man. Yeah, that's the other reason I don't want to use this. Auto-tune same way as iLok, I think. Ugh. All right, so all this crap to open this thing. It's popping up a web page. And, ugh. All right, so let's find a chunk here. I don't really know how to use this one all that well, but. I need a little sunshine. Okay, let's let me loop a section. Okay. I need a little sunshine. Let me know if you guys can't hear this. I can turn this up quite a lot, actually. I need a little sunshine. Okay, I'm not sure if anything's been done to this yet. There's a, yeah, I forget how to use this software very much. Let me see. Pan and zoom display. Click and drag. Zoom. Alt. Click and drag. Yeah, this is really clunky. Okay. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I need a little sunshine. Lock the screen. I need a little sunshine. So one thing that you could do. So this is snapping right now. How do I turn off snapping? I almost wanted to. I think maybe I can hold the. Okay, so there we go. Okay, see, I'm not actually really modifying the pitches. They're staying relative to each other. So when they talk about auto-tune destroying vibrato or whatever, it doesn't have to. You can see this is going to preserve all the vibrato that it's ever had. I'm just changing the actual pitch. I need a little sun. I need a little sun. Right? So I'm changing the pitch, sure. But I'm not changing the piece to pitch individually. Level change, drift, correction. Okay, so if I do. So I'm not sure how this works. Okay, so this is just pulling it to the center. Drift. Okay, so now this is modifying the pitch some. But I think what people lots of times think about as like, destroying vibrato or whatever, it'd be more something like this, where you would just completely flatten the thing out. Now listen to what this sounds like. I need a little sun. I need a little sun. Now in this case, it's actually not that bad, sadly. Let me take that out. I need a little sun. Let's try this chunk over here, maybe. Shine, shine. So that kind of has a. It's got like a bend up to it. If I flatten this thing out. Shine. Actually, man, it's barely doing it. Let's see. Shine. Okay, now we're getting some little robot sounds here. Let me undo this. This is shaper tool. Wonder if this lets you do. Yeah, I'm not really sure how that works. Never mind. Warp point, no. So I'm used to having a way where you can actually squish these down kind of automatically. And I think there's an automatic let's see, there's some sort of automatic thing. Select. Oops, I'm not sure what that just did. Probably didn't want to do that. Okay. I know there's some kind of automatic thing. Oh, that's for time. I don't want to do that. See, because this correction is just moving the pitch center. But there's actually a way, like in Auto-Tune, it's a little bit simpler to do this. Let me see. If I, like I say, I'm just not used to using this tool too much, but there should be a way to really squish this kind of flat just with a fader. I know I could do it in Melodyne somehow. Let me pull up Melodyne. Man, it's just killing me because I know it's just like sunk cost fallacy, right? Trying to use this thing even though, Okay, so here we go, Melodyne. Okay, let me find that.
Shine, shine, shine.
Okay, so this is a little bit harder to see maybe. Try to remember how to zoom. There's like a zoom tool. I'll just zoom in. So might be a little bit hard to see, but a little bit blobby.
Shine.
Okay, so if I take one of these tools, there's a pitch modulation tool.
Shine.
So I can totally flatten it out like watch.
Shine, shine, shine.
Versus what it was normally.
Shine, shine.
So that's taking out, this will take out the vibrato completely.
Shine, shine, shine.
Again, I could recenter this thing without it sounding absolutely horrible. Right? I mean, the vibrato's obviously out, but
Shine,
let me put it back where it was.
shine, shine.
So it's still got the natural vibrato, it's got the natural drift, everything. I've just changed where the pitch center is, right? So all this, it's really, you got to be pretty specific about what your claims are. Yeah. Anyway, let me play this again.
I don't think she needs this. This is the problem. That they're just taking everybody's voice, even people that are known for singing and are artists and singers and in bands and not necessarily...
Oh, yeah. No, I was cracking up. Somebody was trying to tell me there was no Auto-Tune or Melodyne or whatever on Beyonce. Okay. So that weird metallic square wave stuff coming out of that voice, that's normal, right? Okay. But again, it's they have a vision in their head of what they want it to sound like, and that's how you get there.
Actors who are singing, who have the ability to sing. Meryl definitely has the ability, but sadly, they've just felt like they've got to auto-tune everything. I'll let it continue.
Sail from the day.
I was going to say that the killer is when you have this massive jump from the F3, being absolutely spot on with the note, and it's actually as high as a G4. So this just absolutely nailed to the line, and then it's actually the octave below, just over an octave, the F3 being bang on the line.
From the day to the wonders awaiting.
Okay, this is another artifact of pitch correction software. The detector often mistakes the octave, and very likely that's what's going on here as well. That's just a little technical note.
You out there in the deep.
Look at this vibrato, okay? Nobody has flattened this vibrato out. Look at all that vibrato. And are you telling me it sounds worse that it's in tune than it's not in tune? I mean, sometimes it does, honestly. There are places where it would, but this is straight ahead music. There's no reason for this not to be in tune.
See, now this is the kind of thing that you can tell Meryl has vocal technique because she's applying vibrato, and this is where pitch correction comes in. So if you're ever so slightly sharp or flat, they will literally, imagine grabbing this and moving it to the lines, whichever note you want it to be.
Yeah, which is exactly what I just showed you, and that throws away all this idea that you're destroying any vibrato or whatever. And if you look at these waveforms here, this doesn't look like somebody leaving auto tune in auto mode at a very high speed. If it's in auto mode at all, this is a pretty slow correction. But look at all the bends. It's not quite there. It's nudged.
That, in a nutshell, is pitch correction. Another comment I had on that Eagles video was saying to me, why are you calling it auto-tune and pitch correction different things? Auto-tune is pitch correction. And if you're defining the words, then that's true. Of course, auto-tune is correcting the pitch. But auto-tune and pitch correction are separate processes, and I do have a video explaining that, but quickly, auto-tune is automatic. The computer just moves the noise, whatever's being...
No, okay. We use the term auto-tune generically, and we just to mean pitch correction. And there is an automatic mode, and like, if you want to sound like T-Pain or mumble rap or whatever, you can do the auto mode. And actually, you can make a really cool effect with it. I mean, if you listen like way back and that Cher, like Believe or whatever, that kind of sound. Pretty sure that was a vocoder, but you could get that kind of trick with auto tune. But let me show you what auto tune looks like. Let's see if I can find some pictures. Do I have it? Hold on. I may have auto tune on here. It may be a demo. It may not run. No, don't have it at all. Looks like an entire. Oh no! Here we go. Okay, let me take off Melodyne real quick. Oh, poof. Okay, try to see it again. Yeah, that again. This is why. If you're wondering why I don't use auto tune itself, because it's sketchy as all hell. Okay. So here is auto tune in automatic mode. You tell it the key or not. You tell it the speed and just let it go. That's automatic. This is auto tune. Okay. This is auto tune. Here's graphical mode. So this is similar to what, you were watching me do on the other thing, Revoice and Melodyne and stuff. You draw in your curves, you see the waveforms, you move them around. This is graphical mode. This is pitch correction. This is not automatic. You can have it create automatic curves right here, or just make your normal curves, but it doesn't have to. So this guy is just wrong about what auto-tune is here.
Made the voice to the note that it should be, and just sticks it to lines like this. Pitch correction is for after the fact. Once you've recorded your vocal, auto-tune is automatic, so it'll automatically do it, and that's why you can use it live. But pitch correction is after a vocal's been recorded. Say, for example...
No, again, you're not recording auto tune to your tape. You've got that on as a monitoring effect or whatever. I mean, I guess if you're insane, you could, but there's no reason. Why would you commit something like that to tape? That'd be stupid. The auto tune, even in auto mode, you're gonna do it after the fact, and again, unless you're doing it live. But I mean, you've seen like that Billy Joel disaster where they had auto tune on live, right? So.
Meryl's voice here was flat, so it's below this line. They would literally select these lines and just move it up to where the line is. That's
auto-tune. You're going to call it pitch correction, it's auto-tune. Auto-tune does that.
Say, for example, Meryl's voice here was flat, so it's below this line. They would literally select these lines and just move it up to where the line is. That's pitch correction. It's a manual process.
That's and auto-tune does manual pitch correction. You are confusing people, and like there's some kind of like, I mean, really sounds like this naturalistic fallacy kind of thing going on here. It's really weird. I'm not really sure what's. Uh-oh, what do I have? I have some scheduling stuff to deal with.
They're looking at the lines and dragging the voice over the top of it. And that's what's done with phrases that have vibrato.
Now, that can be done automatically too. You don't have to tell it to squish the hell out of stuff. You can just have it setting the pitch centers.
So because the note is constantly moving, so it's hard or harder for a computer to work out where the note is.
No,
so
it's not. This guy's just talking dumb crap. Like once it's analyzed, it's analyzed. Period. If it can read it, it can read it, and it can manipulate it.
listen to it in slow motion.
There.
You can hear how the note is wobbling. So a computer doesn't know whether to snap it, to the note above, the note below.
No, it does. This is so wrong. There's like all kinds of algorithms for averaging this out. Like you can tell where the note center is. Melodyne does this. Melodyne will take your vibrato-iest vibrato and put it where it thinks the center would be. Also, and I know this is going to hurt you so bad in your fifis, but you could draw this vibrato in with auto-tune or most of that. Not with Melodyne. That's why I don't like Melodynes. There's not that much direct control over the sound. But you could draw this vibrato in. Let's say she sang it to kind of flat-ish. Not flat as in pitch, but flat as in variation. You could draw in a vibrato. In fact, auto-tune will automatically do it for you. This guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And it's like when they spread this kind of misinformation, it just makes it harder on everybody else. But, whatever.
Low, or trying to flatten out that note. It just sounds really dodgy. So they leave that as it is and just drag it themselves.
No, they like the vibrato. So you have no idea. It's like he's psychic and he has an idea of what they thought it was supposed to sound like. And he's mad that they're not making it that way. But I have I'm much more sure that the producers of this music know what they want it to sound like, and they've made it that way. They wanted vibrato there. There's vibrato all over this thing.
Manually. Whereas for a straight note, if that was then that would be easy for the computer just to take that.
It's not hard for the computer. This guy's so full of crap. Oh, this is hurting me. The computer, once you analyze this, look, there's an easy math equation. Go to the outside extremes of where this is. Statistically, how long does it spend there? Add that all up. Divide it by 2. That's your pitch center. Like, you're full of crap, dude. But that's not what's going on. It's you trying to impose what you think should sound like it. This is why you're interpreting this all wrong.
Sound and snap it, and you don't even have to be accurate with the note. That's the point. The noise that I just made, that would be stuck to the A3, regardless of where I sang it, because that's what auto-tune is. But we will listen on.
That's not
Little
true.
one, chase the wind on the waves. Adventure is calling, so go and
Look at the variation they're allowing for here. Come on, man. I wouldn't be all that surprised if this wasn't auto-tuned at all. I have a feeling it is, just because of some of these guys. But
be brave. But if you get lost as you're tossed in the dark.
so here's a good example. So this one is trending. If we were to run statistical analysis on this vibrato here, it's pitching up. And if you were to hammer this straight-ish, this whole thing would kind of average towards the center. And this part right here likely would average a little bit higher. Maybe not. Possibly not.
dark of the sea, look
Isn't that
for
vibrato?
me. I
Look at this vibrato, man. Come on.
will wait and
I mean, it's this kind of thing that when you see it stuck to the line, and especially, I've said in the past, if you ever start to not be able to see where the voice is because it is so on the line, that can only be auto-tuned with this consistency of hitting notes, holding that note so pristinely to 440 hertz equal temperament. And this is the point, that music doesn't work like this, sound doesn't work like this, frequencies don't.
But it's not. Okay. C to C sharp. Is that's 100 cents, right? I mean, do we have to like pixelate this and count? Like this is like at least 5 cents. It could be more.
Don't work like this, because this is something that humans have invented to try to make sense of sound. And that's what 440 hertz equal temperament is taking all of the notes as frequencies and doing away really with some of the values of those frequencies in order to make the tuning even. Just to get a piano and say, right, that note is that note, and then 100 cents higher than that we'll have another note.
Yes, these are some roads that we've agreed we'd like to drive down, and we would rather you didn't drive down the center of it because you might hit another car. It's like this is very much starting to feel like naturalistic fallacy nonsense. We've kind of agreed that these are where we want to tune our instruments, and this is where we would like to hear certain things. Like this is kind of getting a little bit bonkers.
Regardless of what that frequency is, we're going to make it now organized. We're trying to organize sound. So when somebody's singing, you don't have this in your vocal cords. You don't have 440 hertz tuning equal temperament. You sing with sound. So great.
Yes, but no. Your sound is going to come out at a certain pitch. Yes, there could be vibrato, whatever. Likely there'd be vibrato. I could try, and I can't sing at all anymore. I could get, still I could keep it pretty flat. Your voice is going to come out at some pitch. Just because you don't happen to like the number 440 doesn't mean anything. It's just, that's where it is. What do they always say about the cards, right? Shuffle a deck of cards, hand out a hand in poker. What are the odds of getting 4 aces? It's the same odds as getting any other hand. Technically it's there's a random chance of any hand, and you just don't like this number.
Singers use frequency and sound to hit the best note, and a note that will affect you emotionally. And more often than not, those
Not
notes
necessarily. So again, guys reading mind like telepathy into other people's stuff.
are not on these lines, and that's the point. That this is something that
Wait.
not on these that will affect you emotionally. And more often than not, those notes are not on these lines, and that's the
So the things that affect you emotionally are not on arbitrary lines. They're on some other arbitrary line. You got to bring evidence for that crap. I mean, it may be that it's going to affect you emotionally because something's out of tune because it's kind of dissonant. But these are just empty claims. I mean, this is really starting to sound loony.
point. That this is something that we've invented. And
We've invented singing. We've invented music. What's wrong with, again, naturalistic fallacy nonsense. This is starting to sound really.
everyone now tunes to this. But when singers sing, you don't tune your vocal cords to 440 hertz tuning.
No, but you tune your vocal cords. Stop focusing on this arbitrary number that you're like obsessed with for some reason.
the shore for you I will weather each storm, standing by till safe you return from the night.
Look at this, man. Look, he's getting all cranky, but look at this stuff. It's just so all over the place.
My
Vibrato.
love is a lighthouse So, darling, my darling, look
Look at this one. Come on,
for
man.
the light.
Come on, man.
And now she's joined by another singer who comes up on stage. And by the way, this is from a TV show, so it's not as if this is somebody performing live as an artist and they're using auto-tune and people don't realise. But the problem that this causes, which I will show you later on, is that people now don't know what auto-tune is and what a natural voice is, because people are hearing this.
What is natural? You going through a microphone is not natural. I mean, think about what a microphone does to your voice. Think about what that reverb's doing to the voice. Think about what all these amplifiers are doing to the voice. Get out of here with this natural crap.
Thinking it's a real voice. Yet, regardless of whether it's in a TV show or not, they're assuming that we're hearing a real vocal.
Okay, now I have a little bit of sympathy for this, because people watching all this Nickelodeon and Disney stuff think that, you know, a band just jumps together, they hit a couple notes, and everything's this gigantic, perfect thing. Like, think about all these guitar channels that are out there, and they're like they're pretending like they're playing through a song or whatever, but you can hear like 4 guitar tracks at the same time, and they're trying to say that that's what they're playing right now. They're full of crap. And yeah, when you hear 30 vocals stacked on top of each other and you just see one singer, yes, that's not what it actually sounds like. And to some degree, perfect pitches and stuff are not necessarily what you're going to get. And so yeah, there is some unreality that people get, but again, it's what happened. Okay, when you play guitar, yes, there's people who play perfectly clean guitar, acoustic guitar, or whatever, but a lot of us, we distort our guitars. You know, the amplifier distorts it, turns all this stuff into like square waves and stuff, and that's the sound we like. It's not natural at all. Like, oh, come on. I don't know if I want to keep going with this.
Here. So they're starting to apply what they're hearing here to the recording industry. And the recording industry, I mean, this is a default anyway, unfortunately, but we'll listen on. And by the way, the other voice has been auto-tuned as well.
The light, I will wait at the shore for you. I will weather each storm, standing by it till safe you return from the ride.
A lot of variation there for auto-tune, dude.
My love is a lighthouse. So, darling, my darling, look for the light. The light.
And there we have it. So anyway, you don't need me to tell you what's going on here. You can hear where Meryl actually flips up into more of a head voice sound. So she's got vocal technique. I think this is what annoys me the most, is that you're listening to a voice that you can tell underneath all of the computer processing, the voice does.
Your computer, stop with the computer processing. This is every single thing you do that you're playing on YouTube is computer processing. Like, there's no, it's getting digitized. Sorry, that's what we listen to now. It doesn't matter how natural of a recording you make. It's going through a computer. So
does
sorry
have
about that one.
fundamental singing ability in there, but it's been overridden by a computer.
No, it hasn't. So the intention of the artists has been enhanced to the point where they actually hear what it was that they wanted to hear when they originally created this stuff. You don't like it, that's too bad, but that's what the artist wanted.
I mean, this would be great to hear the natural voices. And
Maybe it wouldn't. I mean, you know, Meryl Streep, probably it would be just fine. But again, we're like, I know you're a little bit worried. We're conditioned to hear things a certain way. And it should be. But you just saw how much pitch variation was in there anyway, so you're full of crap.
By the way, sitting in the audience of this scene, we did see Steve Martin, and he's an award-winning musician and artist in his own right. I'm sure that he probably isn't a fan of this kind of thing. The fact that it's just really badly done as well.
Okay, I see enough. I actually got a lot of stuff to do today, but it's just silly. This guy's imposing his own will of what it should be. I mean, I know I was pretty bad about when everybody went nuts with the compressors back in the day, so I probably can't say all that much, but enough. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.